welcome to the Motorsport Coaching Podcast, sponsored by Motivate Training and Management. This is a podcast where we talk to drivers and industry experts to help you maximize your performances on and off the track. Let's get started with today's show. Hello guys, and welcome to episode 70 of the Motorsport Coaching Podcast. Can't believe we've hit 7. I'm very excited. I hope you guys have been enjoying all the episodes to date, and thank you again for joining us. Today, guys, I'm joined by Sam Silvestro. He's the Managing Director of SS Racing, and in the show, you're going to hear who and what is SS Racing. We're going to talk about some progressions from karts and where should you go, and look at the different production series that are available for your next step out of karts. We're going to talk about racing, how there's no age, and we're going to talk a little bit about fitness, sponsorship, and public relations. So I really hope you enjoyed that show, guys. Of course, if you are after some extra resources and wanting to know more a little bit about Motivate Training and how we can help you, please race over to our website, motivatetraining.com.au, and head to Performance. Under there, guys, you're going to find out some more information around fitness, nutrition, and mindset, and the packages we can offer you there. And of course, there's a fantastic ebook that you can download and learn a little bit more of how we can help you. Stay tuned for today's show, guys. Let's get started. So hi, Sam. Welcome to the Motorsport Coaching Podcast.
Hi, thank you.
So your business is called S Sport Racing. Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so S Sport is a little bit of a newer business. I've been in automotive parts and accessories wholesale for a long time, but now it's just a motorsport products-focused business. We do a few key things that are needed in motorsport. Sometimes I have to open my own catalogue to remind myself, but our biggest product is the Walero underwear. We do race harnesses. We do lithium batteries, which are lightweight. We do some really nice car covers for your race car. And then we do some other little bits and pieces that go along with motorsport.
Yeah, I was really interested in those temperature suits. Can you tell me a little bit about that, and how does that help performance?
So if you want to get technical, you really need to watch the video on our website and read a little bit on our website. But basically it is just a high-tech material that helps to keep your body cool. It's hard to believe, but it does work. It's not like a cool suit. We jokingly call it a poor man's cool suit sometimes, but it genuinely does help to keep your body temperature down a bit. It's been proven and tested, and as I say, it comes down to the high-tech fabric, which is something that was developed by NASA.
Yeah, it looked fantastic. I was like, oh, wow, I wanted to feel it and touch it when I was looking onto your website. Great website, by the way. Did you do that yourself? Or
no, sorry, I can't take the credit for that. Pretty good guy set that up, but he did it to our design and he did a really good job, so we're happy with it.
Yeah, and what is the website address?
Great, yes, I should promote that, shouldn't I? So it's our name is S-Sport Racing, but just typing in S Sport Racing will get you there. Obviously .com.au, but S Sport hopefully comes up in the search.
I'm going to ask a really stupid question, but does S Sport mean Sam Sport, or is there something more to it?
No, not really. It just a bit of a name that popped into my head. S is also my surname for Silvestro, so and it is a bit of a family business. So yeah, you could look at it that way.
And have you ever raced motorsports yourself?
Only for the last 40-something years. I started out in club racing back in 1983 when car clubs as such were a little more popular.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of super sprinting, which was just racing against the clock. Bit of a picnic back in the days when we had places like a dirt circuit at Amaroo Park, and motorcarnas were a lot more popular. Yeah. And then I just progressed into circuit racing, which I still do today.
In the Mazda?
Currently, yeah. Mazda Rx-8.
Yeah.
Before that, I had an Rx-7, which was a pretty fast sort of car, and a 240Z for a lot of years. And before that, I started in a humble little Gemini.
I interviewed someone else today who runs the Gemini car, and they say there's only 6 competitors in it now. That's Queensland based.
Yeah, well, they're getting pretty rare and old too, unfortunately.
You're saying he thinks it's the oldest category.
It would be, yeah. It's definitely been around for a long time. Certainly one of the first ever one-make categories and one of the first ever cheap-to-go racing categories that was ever around.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about the Mazda series then.
Okay, so it's where do I start? I mean, it's a modern-day series and a modern-day car. It's a one-make series where racing is usually always very close. Unfortunately, sometimes that closeness creates a little bit of panel damage, and that's just inevitable. But it's good racing. It's in racing or motorsport terms, it is reasonably inexpensive. The series promoter and inventor Rick Shaw has tried to keep it that way. We've been able to put a cap on some of our series components like brake pads and tyres, things like that, which the consumables often get out of hand in motorsport. So all those things are reasonably priced, and the racing's been really good and varied. We've gone to some different circuits. We've already had a round last year at Tailem Bend. We went to Morgan Park, which is somewhere I hadn't raced until the Mazda series came along. And I'll just jump straight into one of the things S-Sport does. S-Sport has actually built and sold a couple of cars, and we have a couple of cars that we lease for anyone who just wants to have an arrive and drive experience. It's not something you would do if you've never raced a car, obviously, but for guys that have raced and know how to race but just don't have the time to prepare a car or maintain a car or even store a car, we offer them an easy solution at a reasonable price where they can just turn up, helmet under their arm, jump in, drive and race for the weekend and go home on Sunday night.
That's a fantastic offer, Sam, because a lot of their listeners currently race karts, and they're not sure exactly where to progress. As you probably know, with Motorsports Australia, there's no direct career pathways that everyone has mapped out. Some people go to karts and they go to open wheelers. They start at karts, they might go to Hyundai Excel, they go to Pulsar. And so it'll be great, having that experience if maybe Mazda is the avenue they want to go down, that you've got that arrive and drive package available.
Well, that's it, and that's exactly what my son did. He raced karts for a few years under my guidance, and then he progressed to he actually had a Pulsar for a little while, Pulsar series, and then currently has an Rx-8, and he's done very well in the series. So it's definitely a great stepping stone into all types of motor racing. We've got a couple of young guys in the category now who are looking to possibly do some other categories that are a step up from ours either this year or next year. So it is a good breeding ground.
Well, the fact that Rick Shaw still owns it, I feel like he's been around forever. So he must be clocking up around about 30 years of running that Mazda series, I reckon.
Well, no, not this series. This series is new, but he's raced Mazdas for many years. You're right, and he's been a rotary specialist for many years. So he does know how to screw these things together, and also, unfortunately, knows how to drive them. But yeah, and he's hard to beat. But yeah, it's a good series, and he's done a good job of putting it together. And as I said, S-Sport has been intricate in developing some components. We've got if you were to build an RX-8 race car, I can give you a box of bits that will help you go away and build it straight away, like a steering wheel and a hub kit and a seat and a seat mount and stuff that'll just bolt straight into an RX-8 to help you build one. Or as I say, we can give you a ready-built one.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's great to have those things. As you know, being a parent in motorsports, they start karting and think, oh, this is great, my kid loves it, and then works out the financial cost involved and go, maybe you should go back to soccer or tennis. So it's great that you offer those bundled up packages that probably eases the cost a little bit more than trying to work out exactly what bits and pieces they need and then going from shop to shop to having to try and purchase them all.
Well, you know what? Look, I've always said this, but having been in motorsport as long as I have and trying to always help people get into it and stay in it, one of the things we do at S-Sport is try to help people with the costs. As far as in any way, in any of the times that we can, I'm always willing to help people out at competitors out at wholesale prices as against retail prices to help them get in the sport or stay in the sport or move up in the sport.
And do you actually have a shop front, or is it just online sales only?
Currently, it's online only. Our shop front will be opening very shortly. Watch this space, or watch a space, or watch our website, and we'll put some news up on there shortly.
And when you race, do you have a stand at the racetrack?
No, not really. Probably. Hey, too busy racing. Yeah. I tend to put my my race face on when I'm at the racetrack, and I'm a grumpy bugger because all I want to do is go out and be competitive.
Really? No.
Yeah. How unusual for a race car driver, right?
That's right. That's what I was thinking. No, not really.
Exactly.
And so, Sam, obviously you're no young chicken. Do you exercise for motorsport specifically, or do you consider yourself more of a gentleman racer, or are you still in it to win it?
All of the above. A big tip I'd give to people, I mean, you really should do everything right. You should eat well. You should exercise regularly. You should do some sort of training. It is very helpful. The thing I've found in the last few years is swimming. And so I try to swim once a week and do a really long, deep swim. I find that's it's a great exercise for motorsport because it gets your breathing going and your heart rate and all those key things that are important in motorsport. You do have to be, reasonably healthy to do it. There's a medical every year once you're over 40, and if you don't, if your doctor thinks there's any doubt, he'll be the first one to not pass you.
There you go. Do you have to pay for that medical, or does that come under your license fee?
No, that's usually a cost, unfortunately. Yeah.
As if they would absorb that. They tell you to go do it, and of course it costs you money.
Of course, yep. Just like that annual license fee that goes to Motorsport Australia, but you got to pay it. You got to be in it, and every sport today is regulated, so there's nothing unusual about that.
So obviously, Sport Racing is your business. Is that what funds your racing, or do you have other sponsors as well?
Geez, you ask all the good questions, don't you? Look, Sport and hard work is what funds me. Unfortunately, I don't have any sponsors, but a lot of the companies that we deal with do help us, and that sort of help is very important. It's something that you have to go out and nurture and cherish. Companies like, I do actually sell DBA disc rotors, and they'll always help us with technical support and assistance wherever they can. That stuff is important. Yeah.
Very good. Of course, you need all those products and services sponsors as well.
You do.
There you go.
That's right.
So you mentioned that you race at Talonben and Morgan Park. So is the Mazdas a national series, or they were just like one-off events?
So it has been a national series. It was going to be broken into a two-part series this year, where it was going to be a state series and a national series. So you could have won one or the other, or theoretically both.
Mm-hmm.
But now that our calendar's just been thrown into disarray, I'm not 100% sure, unfortunately. We were due to race on the first weekend in April, but that's just been confirmed as being cancelled for now. So we've got a little bit of a break until our calendar was going to resume anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that'll resume back in June, where there is a national round at Talonben again this year.
And what's one of your favourite tracks?
Well, overall, you cannot ever go past Bathurst.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the Rx-8 Cup Series hasn't raced there yet.
Uh-huh.
We hope to do that some stage. Personally, I rate Phillip Island as about the second best track around compared to Bathurst. It's such a high-speed track. It's so different to all the other tracks. But Morgan Park is right up there as a driver's track. It's a very rewarding, very technical, very different kind of track that reminds people of tracks like Oran Park and Amaroo and how those sorts of tracks used to be.
Those were the days. They were my favourite tracks.
They were, yeah. But yeah, Morgan Park is a great driver's track.
Yes.
Especially if it rains. But then they all are if it rains.
3 podcast interviews today, and the third person that said Morgan Park. So there you go. Phillip Island
Okay.
Morgan Park was 2. So similar all type of racing. So
Yeah, no, they are great tracks.
I haven't
highly recommended to anyone if they race and they haven't been there. They are a couple that you want to get to and experience.
And as you're saying that S-Sport racing is somewhat new, what was your life before that?
Look, I owned an automotive wholesale business where we did sell a little bit of race car stuff, but now I'm just focused on the race car product.
The hobby has taken over the career.
The hobby has taken over the career, but it's good to be able to do something that you enjoy, and I think it's something I know a little bit about and can always happy to give people advice on products, not just trying to sell them, but happy to give people advice and guidance where if they are new to the sport, and again to help them save money. Always keen to help people where I can.
Very important.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks, we appreciate it. As I said, we want to keep people racing, so we actually do have a sport. So I thank you.
Thank you. Well, I feel that way too, and it's always great to see more and more people coming into the sport, and not just coming into it, but being able to stay in the sport. I've been lucky that I've been able to stay in it for a long time. So I thank my lucky stars for that.
And do you have any words of advice for up-and-coming drivers, whether it's about Mazda, where it's about following your passion and doing something in parts and accessories?
Yeah, again, you asked the tough questions. Look, as far as getting into a category or getting into the sport, I think you've really got to sit down and study it. I think that in the modern time we live in, that if you don't have people like your parents or someone who knows a bit about it that can help you, it'll be very difficult to get into. You mentioned before how go-karters progress into tin tops or open wheelers or that sort of thing. So, go-karting is a great place to start at any age. You don't have to be a kid to start in go-karting. It's an easier sort of place to start. Other than that, it's hard to give general advice on. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You've given us a great insight into the Mazda series. So for all those parents that are listening, and again, just think of a different option from Excels to the Pulsars, and the Mazdas.
Hey, look, those other 2 categories are very, very good starting categories as well. XLs are very, very cheap. Pulsars are probably somewhere in between the XLs and the Mazdas. The RX-8s, they're just a really nice car to drive. They're very rewarding. They're very fun, and it's also some people prefer rear-wheel drive to front-wheel drive. So the XLs and Pulsars, as you probably know, are front-wheel drive, and the RX-8's rear-wheel drive, and it's it is a lot more forgiving than a front-wheel drive car.
There you go. Thanks for that information, Sam. Final question for tonight. It's not that hard. Do you name your car?
Oh, yeah, I do. I do actually, but it's not a girl or a boy. It's 55. All my recent race cars have been 55.
Yeah.
It's my favourite race number. It's something that I've kind of gotten to be known for. There are a lot of other 55s around, and of course, a lot of people say, "Why 55?"
Yes.
So the 2 5s look a little bit like 2 S's, which is my initials.
There you go. Now, after
racing, top secret just been revealed.
That's right. It's the whole nation. No. One more. After racing for 47 years, I've asked if
42. I'm not that old.
I don't want to age. Okay, sorry. 42 years. I'll just adjust that on my notes there.
Thanks.
Excuse me. You told me about your favourite track. Do you have any superstition?
Actually, I don't,
Favourite undies, favourite socks?
No, look, before a race, I'll quite often still have a nervous visit to the gents.
Yeah.
And I just never take things for granted. Never jump in a race car and just think she'll be right. always just go with a little bit of caution and treat it with respect.
Thanks. Well, that was fun, Sam. I really appreciate your time today and learning more about not only Mazda Rx-8, but your business, S-Sport Racing. Sam's link to S-Sport Racing will be in today's show notes or over on motivatetraining.com.au/podcast show notes. So if you've got a couple of minutes, go over, have a look at Sam's webpage and see if you can purchase any of his products. I'm sure there'll be a thing or two that you can. And yeah, if you're thinking about maybe going up into Mazdas or you're wanting to have a try, give Sam a call and go up for a race day. Arrive and drive.
That's it. You summed it all up very nicely.
No worries. Well, thanks very much, Sam, for your time tonight. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thanks for having me on your podcast.
And good luck for the rest of the year. Hopefully for every category, we're back racing sooner than later.
Yeah, we all hope for that, don't we? Yeah, let's just keep our fingers crossed.
Fantastic. Thanks again, Sam. Well, thanks everyone for listening to this week's show. I really hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. Now, remember, all the show notes with the links and the specials mentioned in today's show are available over at motivatetraining.com.au. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you could head to iTunes or Stitcher, type in Motorsport Coaching, subscribe, and leave us a review. Each week, I'll read them out and you'll go into a monthly draw to win a fantastic prize. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at motivatetraining.com.au or head over to our Facebook page at Motivate to Tea. Until next time, take care.